Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. This time, we're taking you to the heart of Asia, exploring the fascinating world of business networking. Think bustling tech conferences in Hong Kong, or those high-level industry meetups in Tokyo.
We're going to unlock the secrets to success in this dynamic region and not just with surface-level interactions.
Absolutely. And to guide us, we have the insights of Alan Wong, a seasoned Asia business consultant. His articles on ToAsia.biz are packed with practical strategies.
He's got years of experience navigating the nuances of Asian business culture, so this is going to be good.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, get ready for some actionable takeaways. We'll uncover why collecting stacks of business cards is actually a rookie mistake.
And how telling your, failure stories can actually build your credibility.
We'll even discover why joining the right committee can become your secret weapon for networking success.
Let's get started. Alan Wong's article, 7 Proven Strategies for Effective Business Networking in Asia, really stood out to me.
Me too. Right off the bat, he introduces the 3-5 rule. It's all about ditching the frantic card collecting and focusing on building 3 to 5 genuine connections at each event.
It's quality over quantity, right? Makes sense. Asian business culture values trust built through deeper engagement.
Exactly. Imagine having a few meaningful conversations that could lead to lasting relationships and partnerships instead of trying to meet everyone in the room.
That reminds me of something he shared about a tech conference in Hong Kong. Those in-depth conversations, not just quick introductions, actually led to a potential partnership for him.
That's a perfect example. It's about going beyond the surface level.
He also emphasizes the 2-year, one-mouth rule, listening twice as much as you speak.
Right. In many Asian cultures, attentive listening is a sign of respect and a key to building trust.
Yeah. Demonstrating a genuine interest in the other person, understanding their perspective and needs. You're not just waiting for your turn to talk, you're actually engaged.
Now, let's talk about choosing your networking events wisely. Alan's next point is so important, especially in Asia's diverse business landscape. Not all events are created equal.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. Early in my career, I attended this general business mixer in Hong Kong, thinking it would be great for networking.
Man.
Well, let's just say I was the only tech consultant there, surrounded by real estate agents.
Oh, no.
It was a funny experience looking back, but it definitely highlighted the need to do your homework.
Absolutely. Research the event, the speakers, the attendees, and most importantly, ask yourself, does this event align with your goals and your industry?
Are the key players in your field going to be there?
Exactly. And don't forget the cultural context. Alan stresses understanding hierarchy and titles in Asian cultures.
Like in South Korea, for instance. How you address someone can make a big difference.
It's all about demonstrating that you understand and respect local customs.
You don't want to come across as applying a one-size-fits-all approach.
Now, are you ready for Alan's secret weapon for effective networking?
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
He says joining organizing committees or volunteering for industry associations is where the magic happens.
That's interesting. Tell me more.
It's about getting involved, becoming a part of the fabric of your industry.
So you're not just attending events, you're actively shaping them.
Exactly. He shared that joining a tech expo committee, even just handling small tasks initially, opened doors to amazing networking opportunities.
Opportunities he might have missed otherwise.
It instantly boosts your visibility and credibility. You're seen as a valuable member of the community.
Makes sense. And you're probably invited to those VIP events and get introduced to high-profile figures.
It's a game changer. Of course, don't just join every committee. Choose 1 or 2 where you can make a real impact.
Contribute meaningfully.
So far, we've talked about focusing on quality connections, choosing events strategically, and the power of committees.
Great stuff. So what else does Alan Wong have up his sleeve?
Let's dive into his next strategy, making a memorable impact through storytelling.
In a world of elevator pitches and quick introductions, how do you stand out? How do you make a genuine connection?
He believes a well-crafted story can open doors faster than any business card ever could.
It's not about reciting your resume or company stats, right?
No. It's about sharing those experiences that have shaped your journey and connecting on a human level.
Crafting that personal brand narrative, that unique value proposition.
What are the key experiences that have shaped your professional journey?
What's that elevator pitch that truly resonates?
And here's where it gets interesting. Alan emphasizes that sharing your failures, not in a self-deprecating way, can actually enhance your credibility.
Now that's intriguing. So it's about being transparent about the lessons you've learned along the way.
Exactly. In many Asian cultures, humility is highly valued. By sharing your failures, you become more relatable, more human.
You're showing you're not afraid to acknowledge your mistakes and that you've grown from them.
He tells a story about struggling to connect at events in China early in his career. He was relying too heavily on facts and figures.
So what changed?
He started sharing stories about navigating cultural misunderstandings in his first Asian venture.
Uh-huh. And that resonated with people.
Big time. People were engaged, asking questions, and remembering him long after the event.
The power of storytelling. I love it.
It makes you think about the stories you can share, right?
Absolutely. What experience or challenge can I share that will make me memorable and spark a genuine connection?
Exactly. Now, we can't ignore the digital landscape. Alan dedicates a whole section to utilizing digital platforms effectively. Especially in Asia, a strong online presence is crucial.
Particularly on LinkedIn, I imagine.
He actually admits to underestimating the power of LinkedIn early on. His profile was bare bones, rarely updated.
And then,
A potential client mentioned that they almost didn't reach out because his profile looked inactive.
ouch, that's a wake-up call.
It was for him. After revamping his profile, inbound opportunities increased tenfold. Tenfold within months.
Wow. So what are the key takeaways there? What can we do to optimize our profiles?
Well, he outlines a few steps. First, craft a compelling headline.
Something that goes beyond just your job title.
Think keywords that highlight your expertise and target audience. For example, instead of marketing professional, how about bridging brands and consumers in the Asian digital landscape?
That's much more specific and attention-grabbing. I like it.
Right. Then, make sure your summary highlights your accomplishments and value proposition in a way that resonates. Don't forget to add relevant skills, showcase key projects, and, most importantly, engage.
Engage with your network. Comment, share insights, participate.
Don't just be a passive observer. Be an active participant.
He also mentions that it's not just about LinkedIn, right?
Right. Other platforms might be more relevant depending on where you're doing business.
Like WeChat in China.
Line in Japan and Thailand. Do your research and be where your target audience is.
It's about adapting your approach.
So, we've talked about crafting a compelling online presence. Now let's talk about that crucial moment after the initial encounter. How do you keep the momentum going?
The follow-up.
Ellen's next strategy is the 48-hour rule. Prompt follow-up is key. That window of opportunity can close quickly, especially in Asia's fast-paced world.
I bet he's got a story about that.
He does. He talks about meeting a potential client in Hong Kong. Great conversation, but he waited a week to follow up.
Oh no, what happened?
By then, the client had already engaged a competitor.
That's a missed opportunity.
The takeaway is clear. Don't let those connections fade away. Reach out within 48 hours, ideally sooner.
But it's not just about speed.
He says, personalize your message. Refer to something specific to show you were genuinely listening and interested.
Little details can make a difference. I once landed a major client in Singapore just by mentioning something specific from our initial chat. Showed I was paying attention.
Exactly.
He also suggests offering value up front, a helpful resource, a relevant contact.
It's about building that foundation of trust and reciprocity.
Which is so important in Asian business culture.
He also says to be clear about your next steps.
Don't leave it open-ended. Suggest a specific time for a follow-up call. Outline potential areas for collaboration.
Give them something concrete to respond to. So we've covered a lot, from the 3D5 rule to that crucial 48-hour follow-up window. But Alan Wong has one final piece of advice that's particularly relevant in the Asian business landscape.
I'm all ears. What is it?
It's about understanding the role of cultural sensitivity, especially in how business is conducted in different parts of Asia.
Ah, yes. Even within Asia, there's so much variation. What's considered standard in one country could be totally different in another.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
So where do we even begin with navigating these differences?
Alan Wong highlights a few key cultural distinctions to be mindful of. He talks about how in Japan, for example, business relationships are built on a strong foundation of formality and respect.
Right, makes sense. It's a culture that places a high value on tradition and etiquette.
Things like using honorifics, exchanging business cards with both hands, and avoiding overly casual behavior.
I can imagine that could be a little jarring for someone coming from a more informal business environment.
Absolutely. It's about adapting your approach. Then you have countries like Thailand or Indonesia, where relationships tend to be more informal and personal.
So it's more about building rapport before getting down to business.
He also talks about understanding decision-making processes in different cultures. Some are very top-down, with a clear hierarchy and chain of command.
And others are more collaborative, right? Where input from various stakeholders is valued.
You need to know who the key decision makers are and the appropriate way to approach them. Understanding those nuances can really help you tailor your approach.
Your presentations, proposals, the whole communication strategy.
Speaking of cultural nuances, let's touch on punctuality before we wrap up.
Punctuality. Yes, that's huge in many Asian cultures. Being late is a definite no-no.
Alan Wong shares a story about a Western businessman who was almost an hour late for a meeting in Japan because of traffic. Even with profuse apologies, it didn't go over well.
Yikes. That's a tough lesson to learn.
It highlights the importance of planning ahead and being mindful of time. So we've covered so much in this deep dive into Alan Wong's strategies for effective business networking in Asia. From building genuine connections to mastering the art of the follow-up, and of course, understanding cultural sensitivity.
It's about navigating those subtle cues that can make all the difference.
You're now equipped with a powerful toolkit for success in this dynamic region. Remember, business is about relationships. Building those takes time, effort, and a genuine desire to connect.
By embracing the strategies we've discussed and approaching your interactions with authenticity and respect, you can unlock some incredible opportunities.
This has been a fantastic exploration of Alan Wong's expertise. Be sure to check out ToAsia.biz for more of his insights.
And as you embark on your next networking adventure, remember the most powerful tool you have is your authentic self.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Now go out there and make those connections.